Hello, fellow pizza enthusiasts. Welcome to the first edition or first episode of the Pizza Whisperer. I am your friendly pizza whisperer, Rich Leonard. I've made a ton of pizza in my life. I've worked at 2 gourmet Italian restaurants under some really good chefs. One of those, I worked a wood-fired pizza oven. Worked at 5 of the big national brands where I didn't learn a whole lot, but had a lot of fun and made a lot of pizza. Over the past year, I've been trying to perfect a smaller batch, home style, New York style pizza crust recipe, and I finally nailed it. So I'll share that recipe with you, all the how-to in my next video. But wanted to get started with talking about the tools of the trade. This is what I use. Obviously, you can use some other stuff. Some of the things that's really not going to make a big difference, and I'll let you know how I feel about that. Other things, I think it's very important that you use something like this or this exact thing, and I'll let you know about that too. So we're going to get right into it, but before we get started, how about a nice big congratulations to Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Awesome to see him sign that big contract extension. Next order of business for Pete Carroll and John Schneider, let's sign Bobby Wagner back. All right, enough Seahawks stuff, let's get on to the tool. Okay, so again, you can use different things. This is just what I use. I like it easy, so I go with the Cookie Monster KitchenAid mixing bowl. You can use just a big old ceramic bowl, steel bowl, whatever you have, in your hands, and that'll work just fine. This is just a little bit easier. Right, so I use that arm, pop her down there, about 5 minutes on a medium-low speed, and your dough's ready to go. Right, of course, you need some measuring cups and measuring spoons, all that sort of stuff. The dough recipe is the one recipe where I would suggest you be precise with the recipe I use. Every other recipe, put your own flair on it. But this recipe, like I said, again, I've been working on this for about a year, and I think I finally nailed it. Once you get that dough out of the bowl, whether this one or just a regular hand mixing bowl, you're going to want to portion that out into a few chunks. So before I even get started, I want to have something to proof it in. I use these things. I'm going to generate about 4 nice sized dough balls that'll give me like a 12 to 14 inch pizza. You can cut those into like 6 smaller ones, get smaller pizzas, do whatever you want to do, use a tray, but get something because this dough has to rest at least overnight in the refrigerator. It can be good for up to 7 days in the fridge, but you don't want to use it same day. So you need something like this, right? But before you even get there, we're going to move the dough from the bowl onto a lightly floured cutting board. It can be, I like wood, stainless steel is actually really nice to portion and roll dough balls with, or just a plastic cutting board. Whatever you have will probably work just fine. Right? So once you get on there, and we'll talk about techniques, you definitely don't want wet dough on a board that you're going to pick up with some sort of a peel, or it'll get stuck, you'll have a mess, you'll never get it into the oven. Right? But once you have your pizza all prepared and it's ready to go into the oven, there's a few options, right? I like this guy. This is real easy, real thin to work with. You can pick something up off of the cutting board, nice and easy like this, right? But it's a little smaller, right? I can get maybe a 10-incher on there. If I want to do a full 14-inch size pizza, I use this cool peel that my son got for me. It's even monogrammed and everything. And this one, a little bit easier to pick up, so you might want to consider, whatever you use underneath, like a farina, a semolina, cornmeal, something like that to make sure the pizza skin can slide around. You can make it right on here and then just slide that guy into the oven. Now, if you are not confident in your ability to like pick up a pizza, get into the oven and all that stuff, you can go with like one of these things. Just a moment. Not my favorite. I think that, the pizza loses this little something when you use these things, but it's certainly easy. You put your pizza on there, you pick it up with your hand, stick it in the oven, or use one of those peel things. Anyway, that's a nice and easy option if you're not confident using the peels. Once you get it out of the oven, back onto, you can either go directly onto the cutting board and cut it up, or if you want to crispy your crust, maybe let it cool on a cookie rack for a couple minutes like that. Then bring her down and cut it up any way you want. They've got these big old knife things, which actually work great, but I'm kind of old school. I like the good old-fashioned pizza cutter, or if you want style points, get yourself a nice Star Trek pizza cutter. The one thing I didn't mention there, a little dough knife to kind of portion out your dough. I just kind of eyeball it. I'm not big on measurements, with the exception of the ingredients that go in the dough. Now, as far as pizza ovens, the first and best option I do not own. That's a wood-fired pizza oven. I have used them before. The cheese, the dough soaks up all that smoky goodness. In my opinion, that is the best way to go. If you don't have those, there's a couple other options you can use, starting with the Weber pizza kit. It's legit. I love it. That's my best option for home cooking. Option number two, good old fashioned 22-inch Weber kettle grill. Weber makes all sorts of fun attachments, including this pizza kit. And it actually is pretty legit. This thing is second best to a real wood-fired pizza oven, but it works pretty darn well. One trick I'll give you, don't put all your briquettes right under the stone or you will burn the hell out of this thing. Try and line the perimeter around this little vortex thing I have. I might put a few right in the middle there, but no more than like 3 or 4. That should give you a perfect even crust all the way around. Get that thing going as hot as you can. Hotter the better, to almost to the point where you can actually watch the dough rise. I actually have a little thermometer installed on mine. I try and get it to peg out upwards above 550, right? Again, hotter the better. Now, I hate using gas, so one other tool I'll show you. Get yourself one of these chimney things. You throw some paper, little hay sticks, little wax balls underneath there, fill it with briquettes, light the bottom. About 10 minutes, that thing's smoking and ready to go. No gas needed. There you go. That is pizza oven option number 2. And this brings us to our third and final pizza cooking option. Now, this option is great if you don't have a wood-fired pizza oven like me, and you don't have a cool pizza kit for your Weber grill. This is called a pizza steel, and this is great for like a traditional kitchen conventional oven or even a convection oven. You want to get this thing on full blast, however hot your oven goes. Mine goes up to 500, so I'll put this thing in the oven about an hour before to make sure it's thoroughly heated up. And then you cook a pizza on this thing and you get such a nice, evenly cooked, crispy crust as compared to like just trying to throw it on an oven rack, or even much better than using a nice pizza stone in a regular oven. This thing's made by Nerd Chef. It's the bee's knees. Can't say enough good things about it. Go pick yourself up one if you don't have the wood-fired pizza options. Again, I prefer those, but this is a great second or third best. Enjoy. All right, folks, this concludes episode 1 of The Pizza Whisperer. Next episode is going to be the most important. That is how to make the dough. Right? The dough, in my opinion, is the most important piece of the pizza. It's the hardest one to nail. It's taken me a year to nail it. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Anybody can go buy good ingredients and put them on a pizza, right? I've got some ideas around that too. I can even help you with some recipes for some simple sauces. Roasted garlic, all sorts of fun stuff. We'll do focaccias, calzones, all my favorite pizza pies, maybe a pomodoro salad with a little pizza bread on the side. All sorts of fun stuff. So hope you like this first episode. The next one, again, is going to be the good one. How to make the dough, roll it out, all that sort of good stuff. Hope you like this. Subscribe if you do, or give me a like or something, and come on back for more.